Hello. Um, I haven't posted to this channel in over a year, and the reason for that is because I have a life, and now that my exciting life things are gone, I have nothing to do again. So I have decided to pick up YouTubing again. Um, it took me a while to decide what I wanted to do for this first video, but I settled on making a Pixar tier list because Pixar has had quite the cultural impact on my life, and I grew up with the studio and I'm really fond of their movies. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Uh, I think Toy Story is like B tier, maybe A. I'm leaning towards A tier because there's just a few parts about the movie that aren't very pleasant to watch, like Sid's room, and like I think Woody is not that likable throughout the most of the movie. There are a few things holding this back, but at the time it was very impressive, so I gotta give it props for that. Plus, it's like a better first movie than Ants, like by far. Um, A Bug's Life, like this is like it's kind of hard to say I don't like it, but there are a lot of parts that I do not like because of like the liar twisted veal. Like it kind of feels like Road to El Dorado in a sense because of like the whole circus crew and how they are making an impact on this toy world. Sorry, bug world, and but I can't say it's bad, so I'll put it in B tier. B for bug, after all. Toy Story 2 S tier. Like it's just so thematically rich, and it really gets you thinking about like what happens when Andy will grow up, which we will get to in a certain sequel later on in the video. But Toy Story 2 is good. There's a lot of things about it that I like. A lot of like unappreciated things. I don't think it's the best Toy Story movie, but it's up there. It's definitely worthy of the S tier spot, at least in my opinion. Uh, Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. is S tier. Like this world on paper is so complex. Like this monster world and how they have to scare kids to power their city, but they just do it so well. Like everything about it is so perfect, and it doesn't really talk down to its audience, which is again really great. Um, I really enjoy this one. It has a really cool world, and I think it's pretty deserving of the S tier spot. Finding Nemo, A tier. I think it's like consistently good, but there's like nothing like amazing about it that would like put it into the S tier spot. So I think it's just pretty fair A tier. Uh, Incredibles, it's so incredible. Like it's undeniably amazing. I love the superhero parts and how it manages to have dramatic story beats in a superhero movie is really good. It's definitely worth a watch, and truth be told, it's probably my favorite Pixar movie. Cars, y'all, Cars. I don't care for Cars. I'm sorry, you like Cars fans, but Cars to me is not good. Uh, it's just when there's like so many better thematically complex worlds in this studio, like Inside Out, Wally, Toy Story, Monsters Inc. Cars just falls flat. Like you never get to know what happens to like the humans in this universe, if humans even exist. Like I'm sure there's like a Disney Channel show about a monster truck that has a racer, and like it does the Cars concept better than this show. It's actually kind of embarrassing. So I think it belongs in the D tier. Sorry, you five Cars fans. Ratatouille is A tier. Its cooking sequences and how the director like does the movie just makes it really really good. Uh, it's powerful and it's very artistic. But I don't think it's like a fun movie, if that makes any sense. Like, I know it's thematically complex, and probably it's just my stupid brain not getting the themes, but I totally understand if you would put this in S tier. Or maybe if you're a child, you'd put this in B tier, but, um, yeah, Ratatouille is pretty good. Wally is S tier. It's such a good movie. Like, mind blowingly good. Wally is very thematically complex as well about like it manages to fit in like its two themes like about romance like the romance between the two robots and the sorry and the trashing the world theme, and it just soars. It's so good. Up is A tier. I remember liking it when I watched it at a hotel room, but like I feel like the beginning is so good. It's like top tier, and the end is also top tier, but the middle part is kind of like B tier range. So it averages out as an A tier movie. Toy Story 3 is S tier. Probably my second favorite. Probably my second favorite Pixar movie, behind behind Incredibles, because Incredibles is incredible. Toy Story 3 is such a fun prison escape movie. Uh, it's just really creative, and it's not just like it's not like a certain sequel where it just ditches the ideals of the past movies. It has those ideals, and it makes it into a prison escape story, and it also carries on the themes that were um introduced in Toy Story 2. Because when Andy's fully grown up, the toys don't know what they want to do with themselves. So again, Woody thinks that being with a child is, even when they're in college, is the best, while the other people think that it's time to move on, and they think this daycare is the best thing for them because they'll have children forever and they're never gonna have the despair or torture of being thrown out or something. Uh, so yeah, it's really good. S tier. It's pretty fair. If you think it's like A tier, that's fine. But anything lower than that, you gotta be kidding me. Also the ending. I forgot to mention the ending. The ending of Toy Story 3 it's so good, and I wouldn't say Toy Story 4 ruins the ending, because it's still a good movie, but it would have been a much better to end it at Toy Story 3. Cars 2. Like, if you're one of those people who think Cars 2 is really good because of how out of context and stupid it is, then I can respect that. But I don't like Cars 2. Like, everything that the original Cars movie had good going for it is like really bad here. Um, if this was just a standalone spy movie and only Cars and Cars 3 existed, then maybe I would put this in D tier or C tier. But it's insulting to like the Cars universe, and everything that was pretty good about this movie is just trashed away. And none of these movies pretended like it existed, which makes it feel not canon. Like, in Gravity Falls, when Little Gift's Shop of Horrors came out and everybody was confused because it didn't feel canon at all. Yeah, that's basically Cars 2, except it's a full-length movie instead of 22 minutes. So, yeah, that's not fun. Brave is F tier. I hate Merida so much. They fired the original director, who knew what they wanted to do with this movie, and they replaced it with some guy who didn't know what they wanted to do with this movie. So that's why the movie ended up like how it ended up not good. Uh, I feel like it could have been great if they just kept it the way it was with the original director, but oh well. Monsters University is C tier. Uh, it has some like A tier quality stuff, but like it just some of the stuff in it, like that Scare Games plot, it just drags out, and it feels like something you would see in a Mr. Beast video. It's not very good. Inside Out A tier. Inside Out is really good. I really enjoy Inside Out because of this creative world that it portrays, and like the emotional moments land, and like it's a really fun movie. I really enjoy it for that reason. Good Dinosaur. It's either F. It's F or low D, but F high. F is better. It's so bad. Like, try to take Cars too seriously, and you have the Good Dinosaur. It's just, I unironically kind of enjoy some of the moments because of how stupid it is. Every single emotional moment, in quotes, is funny, and that makes this movie a S tier comedy, but an F tier movie. Finding Dory is either B or low A, but maybe high B. It's it's powerful. It makes Dory come to its own person, which was really just a partner in Finding Nemo, and like it has a really good message about like disabled people and how like you shouldn't let your disabilities define you, which I don't personally relate to because well, because I'm a fully functioning person, but it's still good. Cars 3 is probably along the lines of C tier or low B tier, but I'll go with C tier. C for car, after all. Didn't I already use that joke? Whatever. Yeah, it's better than this one and this one combined, and this one pretends like this one doesn't exist, which makes this one a good movie because it doesn't have to deal with anything that happened in Cars 2, which makes it automatically better than these two movies. Plus, it kind of expands the car universe like some of these top tier movies do in the very first movie. That's enough to put in the C tier. Maybe I'll put in the low B tier if I'm feeling generous. Depends on the day of the week. Coco, oh, like after so many not good movies, like these C to F tier movies, like I can't believe Coco came out so good. Could have easily just been a C or a D tier movie, maybe even an F if it was in the wrong hands, but it was just done so well. Coco deserves all the praise because of how emotional and cool it is. Incredibles 2. Remember all that good stuff I just said about Coco? And how, like, it made me believe in Pixar again? Actually, that's kind of a lie. Inside Out also did that. Well, Incredibles 2, I was the most excited for this movie because Incredibles 1 is really good. So, and Incredibles 2 is not that incredible. It's kind of a generic superhero movie. And it's basically everything everybody says Marvel is, except played out straight. The Screenslaver is probably one of the stupidest Disney movies. Sorry, stupidest Pixar villains because of how her motivations don't make sense at all. She wants to wipe out all the supers, yet she constantly helps Elastigirl gain a good reputation by letting the Screenslaver be defeated. It don't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So I can't give anything higher than a C tier. It's probably the biggest disappointment on this list. Yeah, it is. Toy Story is either a high B or a low A, but I'm leaning towards B tier. It's good. I feel like it's really overhated because it increases the ideals and the ideas of the Toy Story universe in ways that you've never thought about before, with Bo Peep and like the lost toys, and how like he's rejected by Bonnie, and it just makes you think about the toy universe, and it's good. There's just some stupid stuff that can't push it up to S or A tier. Like Buzz Lightyear, for example, his inner voice thing is absolutely ridiculous. But like, Toy Story 3 kind of fumbled Buzz with that Spanish mode anything anyways, so it's fine, I guess. Onward is like either D or F tier. I'll nice, so I'll give it a D. Y'all, Onward Sims? Okay, Onward is good at heart. It has a really good message, and it there's some really good scenes, like the bridge and like that fight against that stone dragon thing, but it just falls apart in its details because this magic gimmick, this magic world, where they establish a world that lost interest in magic powers. That's really creative. I wish they'd done more things with that, because it's this isn't it doesn't do anything with that idea. Just feels like your normal average world until you meet a magical creature who gains their magic powers after 5 minutes. If there was like, I don't know, maybe like a protesting scene about like, what if there was like two sides, one that wants to use magic in this world and one that doesn't, and they clash, and like, I know it doesn't fit with the themes of this movie, but there's just so many ideas that go unused, and it kind of frustrates me for that reason. Soul is A tier. I remember seeing it during the pandemic, and it was pretty good. Uh, it leaves you thinking more than feeling, but like, this whole Soul world is so majestic, and it has, it could have been like Brave. It would. There were just so many points where it could have flopped, but it didn't because it's pretty extraordinary. Luca's B tier. I'm sorry. I just don't care for Luca that much. It's probably the most generic movie on this list, excluding you. Because, okay, actually excluding you as well. And you. That's a bit mean to say. But, like, it's played out so straight, and it's probably the most predictable movie. It's one of the most predictable movies. I should probably stop being mean to the movie. But it's just played out so straight. It's so predictable, but there is some good elements. Like, the villain's design looks exactly like that chef from Ratatouille, and it automatically gets a few bonus points for that. Turning Red is either C or D tier. It's C. The overarching plot, the overall plot is not that interesting, where they're trying to raise money to go to a BTS from Wish.com concert. It has some funny moments. It's pretty funny, and it has its quirks. You can tell this movie comes from a sense of passion. But like, oh, and it's Asian stereotypes. It's pretty funny with the stereotypes. But like, the mom has some funny moments, but she is so ridiculously, like, unreasonable. She just assumes the worst out of everyone except her own daughter, and it sort of makes this experience kind of unbearable, but not to the point where it's like Cars 2 level of bad. That was kind of mean to Turning Red, but whatever. Lightyear's D tier. Like, everyone rashes out on Toy Story 4 for being a continuation of like wanting to milk money off the Toy Story franchise or whatever, but like, I think this is a better example of this. It really doesn't have anything to do with the Toy Story world, obviously, but Buzz with hair is absolutely cursed, and that's enough to put the movie into the D tier. It's a standalone movie. I wouldn't say it's too connected to the Toy Story franchise, but it falls flat. It's not that good. Don't watch it. It's not really worth your time. That's it. Are you mad that I put Turning Red into the C tier? If so, I don't value your opinion. Good night. Good day. Good evening. Whatever time it is for you. Bye. Subscribe and stuff.